Hey folks, my guest today is Gregg. He's the founder and CEO of Cover Me, a health tech SaaS company using AI to help people find paying sources for healthcare bills in a real-time marketplace. He's bootstrapped and profitable. The team has doubled along with revenue in each of the last 4 years. Greg, you ready to take us to the top?
I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
All right. What gave you the idea to do this? Did you have a health scare yourself and a bunch of medical bills, or what happened?
I have. I actually started as a healthcare administrator. I ran parts of the Health and Human Services Commission in Texas. And one thing I realized was that government in particular is really, really bad at eligibility and enrollment and all of these things that are out there. And so once I got out and sort of escaped, I thought, well, I'm going to try to make a living in government. And then as this grew on and on and on, I realized, you know what, you can't scale this. I can't do it. And so as we started easing off into long-term care and easing off into the hospitals, about that time I got sick. I had cancer, had all kinds of nonsense going on, and fussing and fighting with the insurance companies about what they would pay and why they would pay something and why they wouldn't. Like, this is absolutely insane. I'm not a stupid person, but I can't figure this out. So we took some of the lessons we learned from enrollment. We took some of the lessons we learned from eligibility over the last 30 or 40 years and really turned them into an AI-driven solution that helps people find ways to pay for their healthcare in real time.
What are some of those ways to pay for healthcare in real time?
Wow, you've got a plethora of government programs ranging from Medicaid, Medicare. You've got workers' comp. You've got all kinds of government-based programs. But there are also, these days, tons and tons of hospital-based programs. So the hospitals need to have ways to get people to pay for their health care that can't. So they have financial assistance programs. They have charity programs. They have cash discount programs. They have all sorts of other programs. And then finally, the commercial finance markets have really stepped up to the plate in a pretty big way here, providing all sorts of low interest, no interest loans to help people pay for their hospital bills, and it's starting to make a difference, starting to make an impact. The hospitals need it because they need to keep their cash flow moving. Patients need it because people like me, don't want to spend our life savings on our healthcare bills. And once you sort of blend all that together, pop a little AI in on top of it, and a whole lot of work, and voila, you've got a real time solution.
So when did you guys get your first dollar of revenue? What year?
2016, our first dollar in this business. It's hard to believe.
2016, wow. And how much revenue did you do that year? Do you remember?
Yeah, like 180,000. It was really, really spooky and scary. We had come out of doing. I tell people all the time that I crashed and burned this business a couple of times. One of the ways I did it was saying, I'm not going to do any more state-based business ever again. I don't like working with state governments. I'm just not going to do it. Rather than sort of easing into that pronouncement, I just said, okay, we're done. That's it. I'm cutting it off. And then we started looking around like, okay, now what do we do? So we went into a very dev-centric time frame, really over the last 5 years, where we've spent a lot of time really trying to own and understand the market, but also growing it because we decided to bootstrap and push our own, some of our own capital up front.
How much of your own money did you put in?
We put in about 800,000 total.
How'd that feel? Was it scary?
It was a little scary. At times more scary than others. But as we began to realize just how significant the market was, and we sort of made a pivot from just being a very narrow niche to now where we actually provide a marketplace for our patients, where they can go, or our hospitals, where they can take their patients into the marketplace and not only find them finance solutions, but we can find them drug discount programs. We can find them community programs that help and serve them, and really help make the patient's health journey a little bit better.
Greg, who is we? You mentioned co-founders. Is there a bunch of you guys?
There's two of us, or there's three of us.
You split it 33, 33, 33, or what?
No, I own a little bit more than a majority, and my two co-founders own the rest.
Okay, and so where did you guys? I mean, were you like super wealthy from a family or something? Where did you get 800 grand to put into the business?
Yeah, just over time, I'm kind of an old entrepreneur. And so over time, we had tried to do some different things. And I had built a couple of small sort of tech companies that were centered around automating different pieces and parts of healthcare, and automating back in the day, automated the training process back before learning management systems were cool. We did a literacy training program that we pushed worldwide, trained 250,000 people everywhere from Kenya to the Ukraine to the jungles in Thailand, using satellite discs and buying transponder time. So
wow. Okay, so that makes sense. And you use 800 grand to get the MVP. You do 160 or $180,000 your first year. How much revenue do you do this year, you think?
This year, we will finish the year at about 1.6. Our ARR will be a little bit heavier than that because we're really diving off into I guess we sort of consider this game time. And so we're amping up our sales and marketing efforts. I have a new sales director. We have a new marketing director.
How many people total are on the team?
22.
And how many folks are engineers?
Oh, gosh, 13.
And how many salespeople?
3 plus half of me and half of one of my co-founders.
How many of the 3 or 4 have a quota?
2.
Okay, you do have a quota. What's their quota target?
We have this is newly established, so you're hearing it here first. So anybody that's complaining that you might publish this, you feel free to do it. What we decided to do was, look, we think the market is significant here, and we've tested into this enough with our products to really understand that if somebody's really working this market, either in the hospital side or on the nursing home side, we have 2 separate sides. The ability to sell $1 million worth of the product is easy and doable. So we pay them a decent base. We pay them $100,000 as a base, and then 10% on the first year of the revenue, and then there's some residuals.
That's great. And just to understand your growth rate, so if you're going to finish the year at 1.6 in terms of ARR, like what was your monthly revenue just last month?
Let's see. I could tell you, we just added 3 new customers. So we added 270,000 in revenue last month.
In ARR?
In ARR, correct.
Got it. So you added to about 22,500 of MRR, but what was total MRR last month?
131, I think.
31,000. And where was it exactly 1 year ago in the middle of COVID?
Oh, we struggled a little bit last year. We dipped all the way down where we were dragging around about 100 a month.
Okay.
It was a tough time. I was sick and had cancer, and everybody was struggling through things and selling into hospitals.
You just had cancer. This was just last year.
Yeah, I still. In fact, next Thursday, I go in to see if it's all gone. So
let's see how it goes. Well, I hope you're well and it's all better and you're super healthy now.
Well, I tell you what,
your way.
One of the greatest things of all, Nathan, that happened during all of this effort for me personally, chokes me up a little bit to think about it. As an entrepreneur, you sort of have this belief that I'm sort of important to my company, and if I'm not here, what's going to happen? It's amazing the way some of the leaders in this company stepped up. My co-founders in particular, but also people really across the board, from our automated testing teams to our chief architects, really stepped up into fill some roles that were kind of leadership roles in a way that I had left, as a void. I was working maybe half-time or so, but people really stepped up. And I think the most valuable lesson that I personally learned during all of this was, I do have a few ideas, and the company was in large part founded on a few of my ideas. But the future of CoverMe and the future of where this company ends up is really in the hands of some of these young, smart people that are developing the marketplace and developing all the products in the future. So it's been great.
I love hearing that. That's wonderful. And you've done all this bootstrapped, right?
We did.
Yeah. Has any plans to raise? Or you're going to stay bootstrapped?
Yeah. When we first set out, I actually sort of sought counsel from you. You probably don't even remember it. But when we first started dragging into this thing, I was really focused on, I don't want to raise. I want to keep this equity for myself and for my co-founders. And so we embarked on that. But we had this pact between us that from 0 to $1 million in ARR, we would try to just keep loaning ourselves the money, generate as much cash as we can to keep the thing moving. Between 1 and 2, 1 and 2.5, we thought if we need to get some commercial debt, or we need a line of credit or something like that to sort of even out the cash flow, we'll do that, which we did.
How much did you raise in debt?
125,000 total in a line of credit.
Okay.
And I don't think we have any of it out right now. I'll double check on that. But anyway, our point was that once we got to that 2 million to 2.5 range, we felt like our margins were strong enough to support getting us there. But also that would put us in a good position, in a good place to start to scale this thing. And that's where we find ourselves now. We're going to start looking at that raise in Q4.
How much is the right amount?
We're still fuzzing around about it. To scale this thing and do it right, I think we need 4 or 5 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what do you think the valuation could be?
Well, we're sitting down to talk about this here in about a month or so, but I think we're probably realistically looking at maybe 12 million. Sorry, somebody's
you're good. No worries. Do you think if you raise 5 million on a 12 million pre, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. We're still fuzzing around about it. One of the exciting things about where we are today is that bringing in these new salespeople and watching them perform quickly and out of the gate has really given us some confidence to start to make other investments and do other things we need to do.
How many customers are they managing now? How many customers total?
36 total.
Okay, and they're hospitals, right?
Hospitals and nursing homes. It's a little bit. Okay. They're slightly different markets, in part because of the way they're funded. So a nursing home might bring us 25,000 or so a year, a couple thousand a month for a home. But because very few operators only have one home, they might have 2, 3, or 4. We're just now getting into understanding that market a little bit better and maybe right sizing our pricing that will allow us to bring in some additional nursing homes. So that's exciting to us, and we're excited about it. We think we can get that revenue per contract, I'll call it, as we call it, up to probably the 50 or 60 range on the nursing home side. On the hospital side, it's a little bit different because we have several different products. Mm-hmm. The hospital sides, depending on the size of the hospital, ranges between 5,000 a month and maybe 12,500 a month. We have one that's a little bit bigger than that. But all in all, it shakes out to around, between the two of them together, hospitals are about, give or take a little bit, about 100,000 a year, and nursing homes are about 25. We think we're about 50% beneath the market on both of them. So we're going to start looking at some price increases. We've got some new value props that we're adding into the marketplace. And we think our customers will easily be able to absorb it based on the ROI for our product offer.
Well, Gregg, it's a hell of a story, man. We're rooting for you. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite book.
Man, after I got sick, I started reading the Bible. 2 years ago, next week, I will have read the Bible for 732 days in a row. So it's something I get leadership ideas from, I get commitment ideas from, and all sorts of feel good components to that. So that's an easy one.
Gregg, is there a founder you're following or studying?
Nathan, I don't want to blow your horn too much, man. And I guess people have probably done this. I haven't listened to all your podcasts, but you have been very important to us and our growth. We look to not only your Slack channels for ideas and some of your founders that you connect us with, but also reading your book and listening to your podcast. We get more good ideas from you than just about anybody else in the space.
Oh man, I appreciate that, Gregg. Thanks so much. I'll pass it on to my team. We have a great support system running the whole thing, so I appreciate that. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building Cover Me?
Oh, that's easy. There's a San Diego-based startup called Rehinged. They are a spin out from a VC company out there, and these guys are absolutely killing it. They take data and they apply AI to it and push it into sort of an easy to use dashboard for marketing purposes. And in fact, I just invested some of my own money into that deal. Rehinged is going to be a superstar in that space.
Interesting. They have a very, very AI heavy site. So this does not surprise me. Very interesting. What's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Man, that's complicated. I've got 2 great kids. I've got 2 amazing grandkids. I'm really good at my job, but not super great at relationships. But
You and me
I
both.
get through life, and it's all good.
So not married, 2 kids. Is that right?
That's right.
And how old are you, Greg?
I'll be 61 next month.
61 years young. I love that. And how much are you sleeping these days? How many hours?
5 or 6 hours.
Okay, pretty good. All right. Take us home here. Something you wish you knew when you were 20.
Man, I wish I would have known that you don't have to work for other people, that you could do this yourself. If you just get in, be committed, stay going where you go, and keep your eyes on the prize, and always step toward the fire. Anybody could do this.
Guys, we're thinking positive thoughts. Gregg is going to go into his doctor next week and get the all clear. He battled cancer hardcore last year and realized the problems associated with paying bills. It's a nightmare. He's a smart dude, but it's hard to figure out. That's why he built Cover Me. Cover Me is now growing very quick. They were doing $100,000 a month about a year ago, now doing $131,000 a month across 36 hospitals and nursing homes who pay them to help their patients figure out ways to pay more effectively using things like workers' comp, Medicare, cash discount programs, charities, things like that. They've done this bootstrapped, which we love, with a team of 22 people. Gregg owns about 55% of the business. Gregg, thanks for taking us to the top.
Nathan, thanks for everything.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company, or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them, and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.